What is going on, you guys? This is RBG, aka the Random Black Gamer, bringing you a video on the update for the Transformers movies. As the days fly by, many people ask the question, where is Transformers? Because it has been almost 3 years since we've had a live-action Transformers movie. Not counting the animated movie in Transformers 1, but Transformers Rise of the Beast. Yes, many have been asking what's going on with the sequel to this, which could either be two things. It could be a Michael Bay project, or it can actually be another thing that's tied to the Transformers G.I. crossover. Whatever the case may be, it seems like Paramount and Hasbro are doing a little bit of reconstruction to the franchise's perception, and we just want to know more. And it looks like we actually have an idea on what we could be seeing, and I'm going to talk about it. But before we dive into today's topic, I want to give a special shout out to our sponsor, Aniba. Something that we can all agree on is that gaming companies have collectively decided that our wallets haven't suffered enough. Apparently paying $70 to $80 or whatever ridiculous number they're charging this week for a game wasn't painful enough, but thankfully Aniba has come along to remind us that there are actually cheaper options out there. It's an online marketplace where you can find deals on games and other digital goodies across the PC, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and even more. Instead of handing over your entire paycheck for one game that you'll probably rage quit after 3 days, you can save a little money and make questionable purchasing decisions more efficiently. And I'm not just talking about games. Maybe you need a gift card. Maybe you're hunting for DLC. Maybe you're trying to justify buying another game when your backlog already looks like a full-time job. Aniba has plenty of options for all of the above. So if you'd like to keep more of your hard-earned cash while continuing your lifelong quest to accumulate an absurdly large game library, check out Aniba by using the link in the description box below. Your wallet might actually appreciate it. Well, yeah, guys, I bet you're probably wondering what's going on with the Transformers live-action movies. Like, why has Paramount been delaying to produce any live-action movies in general? Like, what was even the point of even announcing a Transformers movie when they don't have any direction for the future of the franchise? Could it be due to the lack of direction and how they basically lost their casual audience? Like, we already know that normies don't necessarily understand the Transformers mythos, and they still think that certain things like TF1 take place in the Bayverse, and also Transformers Rise of the Beast, which failed to even be a Beast Wars movie and a true Bumblebee sequel. There's also been this reoccurring trend of teasing cool things only to not deliver upon them. Back when Transformers The Last Knight was still in early development, the writers' room actually came up with the idea of an expanded universe, and in order to do that, they needed to change things that were already established, such as Bumblebee's origins, where he originally came to the Earth in the early 2000s but was now here all along since World War II. But after witnessing how bad the reception was for The Last Knight, they pivoted and they changed Bumblebee into its own solo isolated thing that would essentially serve as a soft reboot, which a lot of people didn't necessarily have a problem with, but there was that moderate percentage of fans who was craving that chaos, and that in return reflected Bumblebee's decent but not great box office earnings, which resulted in us getting Transformers Rise of the Beast, a movie that tried to marry the aesthetics of Bumblebee with the overall action and absurdity of the Bay films. And I don't think anybody asked for that, even though we got that post-credit stinger at the end that teased a G.I. Joe crossover with the Transformers. We still have yet to receive some actual answers in regards to if that's still a thing or not. And we have the biggest disappointment of them all, Transformers 1, which was a great movie but had that bad marketing behind it, which caused many longtime fans to wave it off. Although we got that awesome post-credit stinger teasing the Great Cybertron War, it was announced that Paramount was not going to be doing a sequel to Transformers 1, which, as you can imagine, upset a lot of fans who enjoyed the movie. And in my honest opinion, it's actions like this is why the franchise is in the bad state it's in now, because Paramount fails to realize that their audience tends to drift when they keep making promises that they can't keep. If you're gonna tease something cool, then you better be ready to do it. But anyways, like I said, it looks like we have an idea of what they could be doing next, and it comes to us by way of a news website titled The Wrap that suggests that a new writer is going to be helming an untitled Transformers project, saying, and I quote, "Welcome to Dairy writer Jason Fuchs has been tapped to write an untitled Transformers script for Paramount and Hasbro. Plot details are being kept under wraps. Lorenzo Di Bonaventura, Mark Varadian, Michael Bay, Tom DeSanto, and Don Murphy will produce. Steven Spielberg and Hasbro Entertainment will executive produce. Fuchs' script is one of many in development at the studio, as Jurassic World writer Derek Connolly is also writing the Transformers and G.I. Joe crossover movie based on the Hasbro toy lines for Paramount. The untitled new movie will continue the story after 2023's Transformers Rise of the Beast, where Anthony Ramos' character Noah Diaz was offered a job with G.I. Joe in the film's post-credits scene. So as you guys hear, Mr. Fuchs is going to be the one in the writer's chair for this upcoming project, and I'm not really familiar with this guy's work, but after doing a bit of research, I see that he is a heavy hitter in the world of screenplay. He's written for a lot of movies that have grossed over $2 billion at the box office, making him one of the highest grossing screenwriters of all time, and one of the only 2 writers under 40. And he's no stranger to writing for big established franchises, because as the article states, he's writing for the hit TV show Welcome to Derry, which is a spin-off of the It movie franchise, and he's also written other things such as Ice Age Continental Drift, which made over $800 million at the box office, along with 2017's Wonder Woman, which was another sleeper hit that came close to reaching $1 billion at the box office. So I'm understanding why Paramount is seeking this guy to direct whatever new Transformers project they're working on, because he has a proven track record of handling these legendary properties. I also read that he is a very self-professed geek who grew up on the exact comic books and stories that he's now adapting, which in my honest opinion is only going to aid the Transformers franchise, because you need somebody who actually grew up watching this stuff. You need somebody who actually has a deep understanding of these characters like Optimus Prime, and it's not going to just lean on what works, which is what these Transformers movies tend to do. Like sometimes I compare them to Raising Cane's. You know how Raising Cane's is good, but it's really carried by that delicious sauce that they have? That's essentially what it is with the Transformers movies. These producers are being carried by the brand recognition, you know, the actual sauce. They're giving us these bland chicken scripts, or in their case, stories that don't really contribute much and don't have a lot of flavor. There needs to be some seasoning added to that so their scripts can stand alone, you know? Actually give us something that's gonna elevate the Transformers brand. Give the characters more depth and make people look forward to seeing what's gonna come next with them. That's what these movies need. They need an adaptable writer who excels at balancing massive corporate IPs with heartfelt character development. And something that has me worried is when I see names like Lorenzo de Bonaventura, because you guys pretty much know anytime you see that name, there's going to be some form of interference. And he's run off some of the most talented directors that we've had for Transformers movies. Like Travis Knight gave us a solid movie with Bumblebee, but we didn't get a chance to see his true vision on what he wanted to add into the movie, and it's because of that interference by Lorenzo de Bonaventura. And it seems like history is doomed to repeat itself, where we do have a talented writer and a director involved with this project, but they're gonna get run off, man. Like, we just know how it is. There's always gonna be that input saying that it's not Michael Bay enough, or that they need to add in something that's gonna instantly hook the viewers once they see the trailer. Basically just aura forming. And it's been shown not to work, and if something isn't working, why not let the people that are actually cooking up something do what they need to do? At this point, I feel like Paramount doesn't really have much to lose, because you can only go up when you try something different. Yeah, it's most likely not gonna generate you the billions of dollars that you saw with the original Bay trilogy, but with time you can see those numbers later on down the line. You just need to build that reputation back up and regain the audience's trust again. But anyways, as the article suggests, this project isn't going to be related to the Transformers G.I. Joe crossover, which begs the question, which film is it going to be? Because we already have Michael Bay working on a movie, and that project already has a writer doing the screenplay, this guy that goes by the name of Jordan Van Dina. So yeah, we need to know what's going on with this one. Is this going to be a direct sequel to Transformers Rise of the Beast? Because technically G.I. Joe would also serve as a direct sequel to Rise of the Beast. Yeah, those are things that we really need to know. I'm also curious to know what's in store for us with the Transformers Beast Wars cast, because they were done a huge disservice in a movie that bears their namesake but barely even featured them at all. I think if anything, they could use their own solo spin-off where they just do things in an isolated area that features characters that are similar to them, because we didn't really get a chance to see any Predacons outside of Scorponok. There was no Pterosaur, there was no Tarantulas, no Waspinator, not even a Megatron, which is a crazy thing to say because Megatron's been missing for almost a decade now. We haven't really seen this guy in any live action movie since Transformers The Last Knight, and the only movie that we have seen him in was obviously Transformers 1, but like I said, that's a animated movie. So yeah, we need to see our boy back in action, even if it's another iteration of the character. If Optimus can see his Beast Wars counterpart, then Megatron should be able to see his. But with all that said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you. Are you excited that they actually have a writer working on a new Transformers project? And do you feel like there's going to be any corporate interference? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, I ask that you like or dislike this video. It doesn't have to be a thumbs up, you can give me a thumbs down. But if you really enjoyed this video, it would help me out tremendously if you shared it with all your friends and followers on all the different social media outlets. Sharing is caring. But this has been RBG, aka The Random Black Gamer, signing out on another video. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.